The soft amber light of the setting sun streamed through the towering windows of Wright Enterprises headquarters in New York City. Nicholas Wright stood silently at the top floor of the skyscraper, gazing at the endless horizon. The skyline, with its glittering buildings and relentless pace, felt suffocating, a reflection of the immense weight pressing down on him. Nicholas was the only son of Victor and Lillian Wright, heir to a multi-billion-dollar tech empire. From the outside, his life seemed perfect: wealth, power, and a legacy built on his father's relentless ambition. Yet, to Nicholas, this legacy felt like a golden cage. For years, his parents had dictated every aspect of his life. Now, they expected him to cement a business alliance through an arranged marriage. The mere thought made his stomach churn. Nicholas longed for freedom, a life where he could breathe without the weight of expectations crushing him. He had no idea where that path might lead, but anything felt better than remaining trapped in a legacy not of his choosing. Inside the expansive office, tension filled the air. Victor Wright sat commandingly behind a large walnut desk, his sharp gaze locked on Nicholas. Lillian stood quietly beside him, her hand resting lightly on her husband's shoulder as if trying to ease the situation. Victor spoke, his tone low and authoritative. "Nicholas, it's time for you to do what's necessary for this family. This isn't a choice, it's your responsibility." Nicholas frowned, struggling to suppress the surge of disgust rising within him. He responded, "What are you talking about?" Lillian stepped closer, her voice calm but heavy with meaning. "We've arranged for you to meet Amelia Montrose. Her family was once part of the nobility, though they've fallen on hard times. A marriage between you and her would bring tremendous benefits to both families." Nicholas let out a bitter laugh. "You said arranged. I haven't even met her and you've already mapped out my entire life. You want me to marry a complete stranger just to strengthen your business network? That's absurd." Victor slammed his hand on the desk, the impact echoing through the room. "Grow up, Nicholas. Do you think the world bends for your whims? Marriage is a weapon in the game of power. It's how empires are built, not through naive dreams of romance. Amelia isn't just the daughter of the Montrose family. She's the key to securing a partnership that will expand our market into Europe." Nicholas took a deep breath, trying to stay composed. He turned away and gazed out the window at the bustling city below. To his father, he felt no different than the tiny figures on the streets, just another pawn in a vast power game. "I don't care about expanding the market or fortifying your position," Nicholas said firmly. "I want to make my own decisions about my life." Victor rose abruptly, his voice cold and unrelenting. "If you refuse, you'll walk away from this family with nothing. No company, no inheritance, no support. Are you ready to give up everything over this childish rebellion?" Nicholas met his father's glare, his eyes blazing with defiance. "Then consider me no longer part of this family. If all you care about is money and power, then I want no part of it." The room fell into a heavy silence. Lillian tried to mediate, but Nicholas raised his hand to stop her. He had made his decision. Nicholas drove for hours, leaving behind the bright lights and relentless pace of New York City. His mind was a whirlwind of emotions. Emptiness mingled with a sense of relief at finally breaking free from his family's suffocating expectations. As the sun began to set, Nicholas arrived at a small, peaceful town called Willow Creek in the California countryside. Endless rows of vineyards stretched across the horizon, exuding a tranquility he had never experienced before. His car eventually came to a stop in front of a modest house nestled under the shade of an ancient oak tree near the entrance to Willow Haven Vineyard. Stepping out of the car, Nicholas took in the sight of the house. It was a property his parents had purchased years ago as an investment, though the family had rarely, if ever, visited. The house stirred something in him, a faint, almost forgotten sense of belonging. It was as if the silence here spoke to a part of his soul he hadn't known he was missing. The house had a red-tiled roof, a small front porch, and simple windows, completely different from the lavish homes Nicholas was used to. Yet the simplicity of it all brought a sense of peace he hadn't felt in years. The next morning, he woke to the sound of birds chirping outside his window. Standing on the porch with a steaming cup of coffee in hand, he gazed out over the vineyard, where a light mist clung to the rows of grapevines. In that moment, Nicholas knew that this place would be the beginning of a new chapter in his life, a place where he could rediscover who he truly was. One late afternoon, Nicholas was driving along a narrow road lined with vineyards when he noticed an old truck parked by the roadside. A middle-aged man, his face etched with worry, was bent over the hood. Nicholas pulled over, stepped out, and asked, "Need some help?" The man, Mr. Henry, looked up with relief. "This old truck's always given me trouble. I was on my way to deliver a crate of grapes to Willowhaven Vineyard when it broke down." After a quick glance at the engine, Nicholas identified the issue. Rolling up his sleeves, he got to work. In less than 20 minutes, the truck roared back to life. Mr. Henry beamed with gratitude. "Thank you, young man. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have made my delivery on time. Are you new around here?" Nicholas nodded. "Yeah, I just moved here. I'm looking for a peaceful place to live." Mr. Henry chuckled warmly. "Well, you've come to the right place. If you're not too busy, you should stop by Willowhaven Vineyard. The owner, Elena, would be grateful you saved her grapes." Nicholas agreed and followed Mr. Henry to the vineyard. The vineyard unfolded before him like a painting come to life, endless rows of meticulously arranged grapevines basking in the golden light. It was a world far removed from the steel and glass towers he had left behind. In the middle of the courtyard stood a young woman with long brown hair loosely tied back. She was dressed in jeans and a plaid shirt, exuding both strength and grace. Mr. Henry called out cheerfully, "Elena, this young man here helped me fix the truck. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have made the delivery." Elena Foster approached, a warm smile spreading across her face. "Thank you. I'm Elena, the owner of this vineyard." Nicholas returned her smile. "I'm Nicholas. Nice to meet you." In the days following his first encounter with Elena, Nicholas found himself visiting Willowhaven Vineyard regularly. At first, he used the excuse of checking for more repairs, but the truth was that he simply wanted to spend time with her. Elena welcomed him warmly each time, and a natural connection between them began to take shape. They often sat together on a bench beneath a large tree, overlooking the vineyard's vast rows of grapevines. During these moments, Elena would open up to Nicholas about her life, the sacrifices she had made to keep the vineyard after her parents passed away. She had given up her dream of becoming an artist to take care of her younger brother Ethan and preserve her family's legacy. Nicholas listened intently, never interrupting. Her story moved him deeply. Elena was unlike anyone he had ever met. She was strong yet gentle, resilient yet compassionate. In turn, Elena felt at ease with Nicholas. He had a way of looking at life that was both simple and sincere. Though he didn't reveal much about his past, the small stories he shared always made her smile or reflect on life's deeper meanings. Over time, with each conversation, Nicholas felt himself falling deeper, not just for Elena's strength, but for the quiet grace she carried, as though she was the anchor he had been searching for all his life. He admired her unwavering dedication to her family and her dreams. Their conversations became the highlight of his days in Willow Creek. Every time he left the vineyard, he felt a sense of longing, anticipating the next time he would see her again. What had started as casual visits gradually became something more meaningful, and Nicholas knew he was developing genuine feelings for Elena. One afternoon, Nicholas stood near the vineyard when he received a call from an old friend in New York. He stepped aside to speak privately, unaware that Ethan had accidentally overheard part of the conversation. "You can't hide forever, Nicholas," the voice on the other end said. "Your family is furious. They want you to come back and face your responsibilities." Ethan froze in shock, his mind racing. He quickly ran to tell Elena what he had heard. "Elena, you won't believe this. Nicholas isn't who he says he is. He's actually rich and running away from his life," Ethan exclaimed, his voice filled with anger. Elena frowned, unwilling to jump to conclusions. "I don't think Nicholas is the type to use money to control everything. But I need to hear the truth," she thought to herself. That evening, Elena confronted Nicholas. Under the soft glow of the porch lights, she looked him in the eye and asked, "Who are you really, Nicholas? I don't want to hear any more lies." Nicholas knew he couldn't hide the truth any longer. Taking a deep breath, he spoke with a heavy heart. "Elena, I haven't been honest with you. My real name is Nicholas Wright, and I'm the heir to Wright Enterprises. I came here to escape the pressures of my family and an arranged marriage they were trying to force on me." Elena stood frozen, his words cutting deep into her trust. "Dear, everything between us has been a lie?" she asked, her voice trembling with anger and hurt. Nicholas tried to explain. "I just wanted to live a simple life, free from the burdens of wealth and status. I never meant to deceive you." But Elena shook her head, tears shimmering in her eyes. "You hurt me, Nicholas. Everything we built feels like a lie now. How can I ever believe in you again?" Without saying another word, Elena turned and walked away, leaving Nicholas standing alone in the darkness, consumed by guilt and regret. Days of regret and loss weighed heavily on Nicholas. He realized he couldn't let go of Elena or Willow Haven Vineyard. Determined to make things right, he decided to return, bringing with him a concrete plan to help her overcome the vineyard's financial struggles. Nicholas's car came to a stop in front of the vineyard on a late afternoon. The golden hues of the sunset bathed the rows of grapevines in a soft, warm glow. From a distance, he saw Elena working diligently, her silhouette strong but weary. Hearing the sound of footsteps, she looked up, momentarily surprised, before her expression hardened. "Nicholas, what are you doing back here?" she asked calmly, her tone guarded. Nicholas approached slowly, his eyes sincere. "Elena, I came back for you. I know I was wrong to hide the truth, but I never meant to hurt you. I love you, and I want to prove it, not with words, but through my actions." Elena narrowed her eyes, studying him closely. "You say you love me, but why didn't you trust me enough to be honest from the start? Did you think I couldn't handle the truth?" Nicholas sighed, his voice heavy with emotion. "I was scared. I thought that if you knew who I was, you'd only see a man defined by wealth and status. I wanted you to love me for who I truly am, not for my name or money." Elena remained silent, torn between the pain of betrayal and the undeniable feelings she still had for him. After a long moment, she finally nodded. "Fine, I'll give you a chance. But let me be clear. If you hurt me again, there won't be a second chance." Nicholas smiled softly, feeling a renewed sense of hope. He knew he had been given a rare opportunity, and he vowed not to waste it. Nicholas quickly got to work, applying the business skills he had honed over the years. After carefully analyzing the vineyard's finances and operations, he proposed a bold idea, transforming Willow Haven into a boutique winery and a destination for immersive wine tourism. "We can attract visitors with wine tastings, vineyard tours, and art events," Nicholas explained to Elena. "This will not only boost revenue, but also raise Willow Haven's reputation." Elena, though initially skeptical, found herself inspired by Nicholas's enthusiasm and vision. Together, they began reimagining the vineyard. An old barn was converted into a tasting room. Programs such as starlit dinners and cooking classes with wine pairings were organized to offer guests a unique and memorable experience. Ethan, who had been wary of Nicholas at first, gradually warmed to him as he saw the tireless effort Nicholas put into helping the vineyard thrive. The teenager became actively involved in management, learning valuable business and marketing strategies from Nicholas. Day by day, the atmosphere at Willow Haven filled with hope and renewed energy. In the evenings, they would sit together, sharing stories of their dreams for the future. Slowly but surely, the bond between Nicholas and Elena began to mend, strengthened by moments of sincere connection and warmth. After weeks of rebuilding the vineyard alongside Elena, Nicholas realized he couldn't keep living between two worlds. He had found something he once thought impossible: a love that felt real and a life filled with purpose. To truly move forward, he needed to confront his family and free himself from the burdens of his past. One evening, Nicholas returned to his family's mansion in New York. His footsteps echoed through the marble-floored hallways as he made his way to the grand living room, where Victor and Lillian were waiting. Their expressions were tense and judgmental. "You finally decided to come home," Victor said, his voice firm and controlling. "We need to talk about your wedding to Amelia. Her family is waiting for your decision." Nicholas stood tall, his gaze unwavering. "No, Father, I'm not marrying Amelia. I refuse to let my life become another business transaction." Lillian stepped forward, her voice gentle but insistent. "Nicholas, you must understand that this isn't just about the family. It's about the future of Wright Enterprises. If you walk away from this, you'll lose everything." Nicholas let out a bitter laugh. If the future of the company depends on a loveless marriage, then I want no part of it. I've found what truly matters. A life I choose, someone I love, and a place where I belong. Victor slammed his hand on the table, his anger flaring. You're throwing away everything we built. Do you even understand what you're doing? Nicholas met his father's glare head-on, his voice calm but resolute. I understand perfectly. If I stay, I'll just be another pawn in your power games. I can't go back to that life. Lillian's eyes softened slightly with both pain and reluctant understanding. Do you love her, Nicholas? Nicholas nodded, his voice quiet but firm. Yes, I've built walls around myself my entire life, but with her I found freedom, and I'll fight to keep that, even if it means losing everything else. Victor turned away, seething with anger, but Nicholas didn't wait for another word. He took a deep breath, then walked out of the mansion for the last time, leaving behind the weight of his family's expectations. This time, he was ready to live life on his own terms. Nicholas decided it was time to express his feelings to Elena. One peaceful evening, after finishing their work for the day, he invited her for a walk through the vineyard. The soft moonlight bathed the rows of grapevines, casting a serene, almost magical glow over the landscape. They strolled together in silence, savoring the quiet moment. Nicholas gently took Elena's hand and stopped beneath the large tree where they often sat and talked. He turned to her, his eyes filled with warmth and deep emotion. Elena, he began softly, his voice trembling slightly. Since the moment I met you, my world shifted. You made me believe in something real, something I had never known before. You've taught me that life isn't about grand ambitions or material things. It's about simple, genuine moments. I can't imagine my life without you. Elena's breath hitched as she gazed at him. Nicholas knelt down in front of her and pulled a small box from his pocket. Inside was a simple yet elegant silver ring, modest but meaningful. I know there will be challenges ahead, Nicholas continued, his voice steady, but I promise to stand by your side through every joy and every struggle. Elena Foster, will you marry me? Tears welled in Elena's eyes. She smiled softly and whispered, I love you too, Nicholas, and I want to build a new life with you, right here. Nicholas gently slipped the ring onto her finger and drew her into a tender embrace. Under the moonlit sky, they held each other close, knowing they had found a rare and enduring love. The day had finally arrived, bringing with it a whirlwind of emotions. Willow Haven sparkled like never before. Golden sunlight poured over the rows of vibrant grapevines, while string lights twinkled like tiny stars overhead. Friends and neighbors who had stood by Nicholas and Elena during their darkest days gathered to celebrate this moment of love and triumph. Nicholas stood at the end of the aisle, his heart swelling as he saw Elena appear. She walked slowly, her arm linked with Ethan's, each step steady and purposeful. Her white wedding gown flowed gracefully with the gentle breeze, and her eyes shone like sunlight on a calm lake. Eyes that carried both strength and the memories of countless struggles overcome. When it was time for the vows, Nicholas's voice trembled, filled with both strength and vulnerability. Elena, I once felt lost in my life, but then you came along and showed me that true meaning lies in simplicity and sincerity. I promise to stand by your side through every storm and cherish each moment with you. Elena's eyes glistened with tears as she paused to collect herself. Her voice, soft yet resolute, carried the weight of her own journey. Nicholas, I thought I wouldn't survive the hardships I faced, but with you, I found hope again. You taught me how to dream and love. I promise to always be with you, building the life we've both longed for. As they exchanged rings, many in the crowd wiped away tears. The vineyard echoed with applause, tears of joy flowing freely as friends and family rushed forward to offer their congratulations. It was a moment of pure celebration, one that would be remembered for years to come. Later that night, Nicholas and Elena stood quietly under the moonlight in the vineyard. Elena rested her head on Nicholas's shoulder, whispering softly, I never imagined this place could become something so beautiful. Nicholas squeezed her hand gently, smiling as he replied, We made it happen, and this is only the beginning, Elena. Together, they stood silently, basking in the peaceful joy of the moment. The challenges they had faced were now memories, stepping stones toward a future filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities.